أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم Juma Mubaraka. Amir Mustafa Bey, Sundry Moors Islamic Assembly here. Today, I have a PSA, public service announcement. It comes because of a recent video that was forwarded to me where in which there was an individual by the name of Keith Self. I can't recall if he was a senator or a congressman, not that it matters, but an individual by the name of Keith Self on a tirade about the noble accomplishments of a community of Muslims in Texas, right? He went on about all this Sharia stuff and they have a masjid and they have businesses and they have land and they have a community and, all this in his tirade, which I point out and underline, right? None of that's a crime, Mr. Self. So I think it's imperative to inform you and educate you and those of you with like minds that in 1786, when the fledgling infantile republic for the United States of America was finding its way, when the European Christian nations were at bay because of the Declaration of Independence, right, and the Revolutionary War being fought against the British Empire. I remind you, Mr. Keith Self and Mr. Ron DeSantos, that it was Morocco, the Sultanate, led by the Amir Mu'mineen, Sidi Muhammad ibn Abdullah, a descendant of Muhammad the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, bearing the same name as Muhammad the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that recognized you, that put its arms around you, that protected you and your commercial interests in the Mediterranean Sea, that brokered peace between you and other warring Barbary states. So the Islamophobia rants that you so easily let run off your mouth must come from a place of uh, 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 not being informed about your history. Second to that is the treaty that was established in 1786 by Muhammad ibn Abdullah, the Sultan, the Amir Mu'mineen, right? That treaty, that treaty enshrined and solidified and guarantees a Muslim's right to exist right here on these shores, on this soil, on these grounds, on this continent, Mr. Ron DeSantos and Mr. Keith Self. You'd be doing yourself a service to go check the record, right? So again, 1786, the treaty with Morocco that recognized the United States of America, granting it its right to exist and to enter into global commerce, right? That came via the relationship with a Muslim country, not a Christian nation. No Christian nations came to your rescue. And you need to reflect on that because that treaty went into existence before your Constitution even had ink dried on it. And that authority in that treaty is recognized in Article 6 of your Constitution, my Constitution. And guess what Article 6 says? Article 6 says that that treaty is the law of this land. Muslims may not know this. Muslims may choose to go into civil rights under the 14th Amendment and so on and so forth because they're not informed as Americans. But as a American more, I am telling you that we have every right to exist on these grounds, on this continent, and as long as you exist, we exist. Article 6 made the Moroccan Treaty the law of this land, and I'd advise the Muslims to rally around it. Not only that, because your states weren't satisfied with only the constitutional provisions, they went on to argue for what's called the Bill of Rights. And in the Bill of Rights, we know off top, First Amendment guarantees a person's right to freedom of religion. It don't just guarantee it, right? There's a duty to protect and to be a fiduciary in in a person's establishment of the religion, not to write any laws uh, 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 for that religion or against that religion, but not to obstruct or get in the way. And that's what you're doing today. You're violating your constitution. You're doing all this ranting and raving about something that's not even a crime, creating all this Islamophobia, inciting potential hate crimes down the line behind something that's just as natural as any other people, right? Doing for self and assembling themselves in the community where like values are shared. There's nothing wrong with that. So I would just urge the Muslims to become more familiar with the history of Islam in America as is documented, right, in the annals of legal decisions and so on and so forth, not just public servants with rants and rave, serving the red meat to their populace who also don't know anything in most times, right? We have every right to exist in this country as you do. We have every right to exist in this country as any other religion. And we will continue to exist in this country. And Allah knows best. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu to the Muslim Ummah. And a special shout out to the Moors on right guidance. Allahu Akbar.